Hey guys, welcome back to another Spec Egg adventure. Today we have a car that we normally don't see in this garage, which is this MRS. So if you haven't seen the last video posted, that's where I introduced this car into our channel. And this video will be about installing the roll bar. So here it is, the roll bar. The brand is Harddog. It looks exactly the same as the one in my Miata. It's packaged really nicely, and what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and remove most of the interior in the MRS to clear up some space so that we can mock up, fit the roll bar, and then install it. It took us approximately 3 hours or so to remove the seats as well as the soft top. So for sure it's not really like a simple and quick job. The soft top removing process was a little bit more involved than, for example, with my Miata. There is kind of like a tray that comes over that hooks onto your soft top. That tray like hooks into this piece right here. There's one on each side. From your perspective, when you're inside the car with the soft top up, it'll kind of look like a bracket. You'll most likely be thinking that you'll probably need to remove these two bolts, but you don't need to. This bracket here is kind of just like a U-shaped bracket, and then that plastic piece for the tray just kind of tucks into this space right here. So all you need to do is just kind of pop the tray up, and then it'll unhook from this little U bracket here. This piece right here, originally before the soft top came out of my car, I thought this was part of the soft top, and so I was trying to essentially pull this entire thing off of these studs here to lift the entire soft top up, but this is actually a separate piece from the soft top. Ta-da! Here is the gas tank that we removed from the MRS. As I was lowering the gas tank to pull out from underneath the car, these edges here on the gas tank were actually hitting some of the clips and the hoses and things like that around the area where you're supposed to lower it from. So as you're lowering it, just watch out for this and try to maneuver the gas tank in a way that allows you to not break any of those clips or hoses. Another thing is, as I was lowering it, I actually didn't know that there was a hose that attaches to this little nozzle here. Just watch out for that. It'll pull on it. So as you have the gas tank lowered like pretty much all the way, you can access it from inside the car and just pull the hose on out. It's just secured by a clamp. We found out that as we're lowering it, the gas tank actually comes out this way towards the right side of the car. So it doesn't just drop down and you pull out. It's more like it drops down and then you kind of have to shimmy it towards the right side of the car as you pull it out. The next thing we're gonna do before we move on to the roll bar is we are going to switch out the pre-cat. 2 hours later, we were able to remove the pre-cat from my MRS. If you come over here, you can now see that inside I actually have the pre-cat material, still very much in good condition. This one, I've already pre-gutted it, so as you can tell, there's no materials inside. So I will also need to transfer over or put in some studs here. As you can tell, this one that I'll be swapping in is missing 2 of those. So we're at the point where we are mocking up the roll bar for installation. This bracket, this goes in there. You'll see a few holes over there. There's 2 particularly big holes that you'll see in there that are shaded in white. That's where this bracket sits. It was previously spot welded into the back of the car where the firewall is. And that same area is where the backing plate needs to sit. Unless we took this out, the backing plate essentially would not be able to rest flush against the the car. What we need to do was to essentially drill through the spot welds. After we drilled through that, we went ahead and pried this entire bracket off. Similarly, on the other side, where the rear backing plate sits, you'll see that really large hole over there. But what we actually ended up doing was use a really large drill bit and essentially just completely drill through the attached nut on the car. So that's what that really large hole is for. And now the backing plate, after drilling through both sides, will have a much better flat surface to sit on so that it's attached properly to the roll bar itself. So we did end up removing the soft top for this install. I think that you don't necessarily have to remove the soft top, but it does allow you more space, especially when you're working in this general area here. And definitely if you're drilling these 4 holes behind, it definitely does give you way more access, because with the soft top in, this entire area here is blocked off and covered by the soft top railing itself. Next, we're gonna go ahead and put back the soft top so that the railings are situated in the car, and then prop on the roll bar. Just a little tip, originally I placed these 3 bolts into the backing plate first, the front ones, and then I tried to do the backing plate in the rear. I found that if you actually have these 3 holes exposed, meaning if you didn't bolt in the front first, you would actually have a little bit more room to play with while you're adjusting the backing plate in the rear. So I'd recommend doing the rear first, bolting it in, using these 3 exposed holes to guide the backing plate to the correct placement. And then after you've secured the backing plate in the back, then you can go ahead and do the one in the front. Here's the cut that was made, and you can see the black backing plate peeking out from right inside. Here's the gas tank installed, bolted up back into the car. Installing the gas tank is very similar to removing the gas tank, just the reverse directions. This time around, the left side of the gas tank wants to go into the car first, and then the right side of the gas tank will follow after. Here's the ECU remounted with a little bit of OEM modification. What we ended up doing is reusing the bottom brackets, mounting it the same, but with the top bracket, we flipped it the other way. So instead of, with the original mounting situation, it was flipped the other way so that the ECU is able to rest against this back right here. But if you flip this basically 180, then it's going to push the ECU forward. And in order for us to make sure that this part remains straight, we also removed one of the screws here. These brackets are being held by 2 screws each. Now we only have 1, and then because this part is extending forward, now the ECU can sit while dodging the roll bar in the back. While we have the car up, we're gonna go ahead and put on some new brakes. Next, I was lucky enough that someone was actually throwing out some trimmed MRS interior panels, and what we're gonna do is, you see these cuts made for the roll bar by the PO. I am going to use some edge trim, which is the stuff that you see like minivans have on like the edges of their doors. I'm gonna go ahead and cut out some edge trim and essentially put them where the cuts are, and that will make the places where it's been cut much neater and nicer to look at. Here's the finished product. So you can see this is where the line for the cut starts. And the shiny part is the edge trim. I ended up grabbing the edge trim that's kind of shiny in color. And I wish I would have gotten the matte one because it would have looked a lot better. But it still looks okay, I guess. And we've come to the end of the video. The roll bar is in, the carpeting's done, and the car is ready to be back on the road. As you can see, with all of the plastic trims and the carpeting in the car, the roll bar looks really, really good. Like, it doesn't look like some hack job where I just kind of cut up the pieces and then just throw the roll bar in there and it kind of looks like a track car. I still very much want my car to remain very streetable looking and very clean. This at the back of the soft top, right where the rail is, there's that middle rail piece that holds the soft top itself onto the car. We use that as the guide on where to mount the carpet. It does take a little bit of time to kind of get the carpet to fit in there and to fit nicely, so just have some patience, play around with it. You probably will have to kind of just hack away at some materials to make the carpet fit better, but it'll be all right in there. Just make sure that you are patient throughout the entire thing and measure twice, cut once. Thank you very much for watching and stay tuned for more Spec Egg Adventure. Bye!